We're better off than the Northeast. We became them. It's like we traded. South was nasty, now it's nice. Southern hospitality really does exist. It's incredible. They're nice for no reason. They're by far the nicest people in this country, let alone probably the world I've ever met. It's ridiculous. When I first visited the South, I was wondering what their game was, and I couldn't believe that all this time I had this wrong idea about it. But it's not just the South. I had a wrong idea about everywhere but the Northeast. I thought the Northeast was the best, or I didn't think much of it, because that's what people basically hint at throughout your life if you live here. There are parts of the South, I assume, maybe, yes, there are parts of the South that I hear aren't the best, like the Deep South, which would be Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, sorry, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Yeah, I'm going. I don't know why I did that. And people there still feel that they wrongfully lost the war and they one day they'll rise again, as I've heard someone say. Now, they're a little bit crazy, but or they just need to stop reminiscing on the past. I mean, even if they did get their own country, the Confederate States of America, it wouldn't really they wouldn't get slavery because at this point it's not relevant in today's world. But yeah, it's interesting, very interesting what those people think, why the people think that way. I guess it's just how they're raised, but whatever. I leaving out that I would say the South generally consists of, starting with Virginia, um, North Carolina, South Carolina, um, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Missouri. No, not really, but it could be argued. But so those are the southern states. And everyone there has by by far the most obvious difference in speech around the in the whole country. I mean, the southern accent is very obvious compared to other parts of the country where they sound similar. They just have little slight differences, but it's pretty obvious. Unless, of course, you go up to like Minnesota and Wisconsin, where they have some Swedish descent with their um in their speech. If you've ever seen the movie Fargo, you'd know what I mean. Anyway, back to the South. It's people look down upon their speech. Well, if you ask me, it's much easier to speak like that. They're laid back, and nobody there cares. I mean, well, what I mean is it, the way they speak, describe, kind of shows how laid back they are. They don't care. I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason why they don't always do so well in the South. And what I mean by that is why the South is generally known as the poorer part of the country, and that's because it's not because they are so laid back they won't do work, because they will. If you give them, they will. Trust me. Their blue collar work's a lot harder than white collar work, and they get paid less for it, which I think is wrong on the most part. Nobody gives them a chance to do white collar work. They're stuck doing that hard work and paid and underpaid. The only thing I have to say that's wrong about that is that they accept it. They accept that they're looked down upon because they lost the Civil War a few years, 100 years ago, and yeah, that's unfortunate. That because I think their way of life is superior. I gotta say, somebody's probably going to comment that I'm an idiot and for supporting a bunch of rednecks and hillbillies, but firstly, hillbillies I don't think exist anymore, and if they do, they're very uncommon. So they're rednecks, but do they have a choice? I mean, they're on the sun all day. They're doing work, okay? Stuff that people up here aren't even doing, okay? You know where we get most of our stuff in this country that's still being made here? Well, that's the South. The Northeast, going back to why I don't like the Northeast as much as the rest of this country, it doesn't really have much of industries. It doesn't make many things. The Midwest, one thing I do like about it, and I said this, had a video about this a long time ago, is that they make the RVs, and of course, no, the Northeast has no interest in that. They're horrible and horrible pieces of machinery. But the yeah, I mean, and even the Midwest actually, some of them have mixed feelings about it. I've heard, and the West and the South. Well, there's no question. Okay, I'm pretty sure that they would choose RVing over motels or hotels any day, unless of course it's a very short trip, or if they were traveling across the world. But you know what I mean. In this country, taking a small trip around, or a large one for that matter, they would definitely choose the RV. They would rather go RVing, and so would I. But I'm from the Northeast, so that's hard to believe, right? I mean, you really don't see them around here, but that's just one of many things that shouldn't be. And I guess, like I said, excluding Maine and Vermont and New Hampshire, I guess, the upper part of New York State, I guess, could have it too. But yeah, the differences with those states is they really don't belong in the Northeast. They or that upper New England. They really have a Western way of a Western perspective on life. They hunt. They're really they're really into nature, and there's nothing like that here. It's interesting country as a whole. That's what I'm trying to get at here. It's wacky sometimes how different everything is. You can you go over to the next state or to the next region, like for that matter, you'll be amazed to see how much things change. I find that this country, over all the countries in the world, have the most diverse cultures, and you know how things change throughout this country and where you go. Because maybe I'm wrong, but other countries as a whole are similar throughout the whole country. That could be also because this country is humongous. But I think Canada even has people similar lifestyles throughout, and Canada's like twice or three times the size of the United States. Just not nearly as many people. But yeah, before I go on all night, I think you get the idea. Basically, I feel that the South and the West have the best way to do things. The Midwest is pretty good. I would accept that, and Northeast, Northeast, and obviously, just uh, I don't know. Maybe someday they'll learn that not everything is has to be done like like that. Yeah, take your time. Um, in the end, things might even be better that way. The results might be better, but you only live once, you know? Enjoy every moment of it. Don't stress out on things. That's why college is bad, because you stress out on things, but yeah. I think you get the point. Northeast. I think they know everything, and the news shows that that's the way to live, and the news sucks anyway, so who gives a crap about that? It, someday I hope the South does rise again. Just doesn't. They just keep slavery out of it. Maybe they can persuade us that that's the way to do things. Probably never going to happen, but okay. It's good to hope for that. Anyway, everyone, thank you for listening to me saying basically things as they come up, and I will definitely be in touch with everyone who enjoys watching me kill time by talking about things that I think about. So until next time, everyone, see you later.